It was past midnight, and the city was enveloped in an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional distant sirens. Sam, a college student struggling to make ends meet, found himself at his part-time job as a food delivery driver. The dimly lit streets seemed to stretch endlessly as he navigated through them, delivering meals to hungry patrons. Sam had heard the rumors circulating among his fellow drivers about strange occurrences during late-night deliveries. Some spoke of customers who vanished into thin air upon opening the door, while others whispered about eerie addresses leading to abandoned buildings. Despite his skepticism, a chill ran down Sam's spine as he approached his next delivery destination, an obscure address in the outskirts of the city. The GPS directed him to a desolate street lined with decrepit houses, their windows boarded up as if hiding from the outside world. The address he sought belonged to the last house on the block, standing ominously with peeling paint and a broken porch light. Ignoring his growing unease, Sam parked his car and grabbed the food delivery bag. Approaching the front door, Sam hesitated for a moment before knocking. The sound echoed through the silent night, but there was no response. He knocked again, louder this time, but still, there was no answer. Just as he was about to turn away, the door cracked open, revealing a dimly lit interior. "Hello? Your food delivery is here," Sam called out tentatively, peering into the darkness beyond the threshold. There was no movement, no sound, but an inexplicable feeling of dread washed over him. Summoning his courage, Sam stepped inside, the door closing behind him with a soft click. The air was thick with an unfamiliar scent, musty and oppressive. As his eyes adjusted to the dim light, Sam noticed the eerie decor adorning the walls. Strange symbols etched in crimson paint, flickering candles casting dancing shadows. "Is anyone here?" Sam called out again, his voice trembling slightly. Still met with silence, he cautiously made his way further into the house, the floorboards creaking beneath his weight. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if an invisible force was urging him to turn back. Suddenly, a faint whisper echoed through the darkness, sending shivers down Sam's spine. He froze in place, straining to listen. It sounded like chanting, low and guttural, coming from somewhere deep within the house. Heart pounding, Sam followed the sound, his footsteps echoing in the silent halls. The chanting grew louder with each passing moment, reverberating through the walls like a sinister heartbeat. As he turned a corner, Sam stumbled upon a scene that made his blood run cold. In the dimly lit room ahead, a group of hooded figures stood in a circle, their voices rising in an otherworldly chant. At the center of the circle lay the food delivery bag, its contents spilled out in a macabre display. The air was heavy with the scent of incense and something else, something foul and unnatural. Terrified, Sam tried to back away, but his foot caught on a stray object, sending him crashing to the ground with a loud thud. The chanting abruptly ceased, and all eyes turned towards him, their gazes piercing through the darkness. "You shouldn't have come here," a voice hissed from the shadows, sending a chill down Sam's spine. Before he could react, the hooded figures advanced towards him, their movements synchronized and unnerving. With a surge of adrenaline, Sam scrambled to his feet and bolted towards the nearest exit, his heart pounding in his chest. He could hear the sound of pursuit behind him, their footsteps echoing in the narrow corridors. Panic gripped him as he fumbled with the locks, praying for escape. Just as he reached the door, it swung open with a deafening creak, revealing the darkness of the night outside. Without looking back, Sam dashed into the night, the echoes of the chanting fading into the distance behind him. As he stumbled through the desolate streets, Sam couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered in the air. He had narrowly escaped whatever sinister ritual had been unfolding in that house, but he knew he would never be the same again. The horrors he had witnessed would haunt him for the rest of his days, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the surface of reality. From that day on, Sam swore never to venture out into the city after midnight for fear of what lurked in the shadows. And as he drove away from that accursed house, He couldn't shake the feeling that he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than he could ever imagine. Something beyond the realm of the living, waiting patiently in the darkness for its next unsuspecting victim. The neon glow of the city dimmed to a mere flicker as Jake navigated through the labyrinth of darkened streets. Behind the wheel of his beat-up sedan, he cursed under his breath, wondering why he had volunteered for the graveyard shift at the local food delivery service. The pay was decent, but the stories circulating among the drivers about strange occurrences during the night sent shivers down his spine. As he approached his next delivery destination, Jake's phone pinged with the address. It was a rundown apartment complex tucked away in a desolate corner of the city. Reluctantly, he parked his car and grabbed the paper bag containing the order. The building loomed before him, its windows like vacant eyes staring into the abyss. With each step, Jake's unease grew. The air was heavy with an oppressive silence broken only by the distant hum of traffic. He reached the apartment door and hesitated, a chill creeping up his spine. Taking a deep breath, he knocked. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time, but still, there was no response. Jake glanced at his phone, confirming the address. He was at the right place. With a sinking feeling in his gut, he reached for the doorknob. To his surprise, it was unlocked. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit hallway shrouded in shadows. Jake's heart pounded in his chest as he stepped inside, the floorboards groaning beneath his weight. The air was stale, tinged with a faint metallic scent that made his stomach churn. "Hello?" he called out, his voice echoing off the walls. Silence greeted him in return. Gripping the bag tightly, Jake pressed on, his footsteps echoing down the corridor. As he reached the end of the hallway, he spotted a faint light emanating from beneath a door. Relief flooded through him as he approached, his hand trembling as he raised it to knock. Before his knuckles could make contact, the door swung open, revealing a figure standing in the doorway. The woman before him was pale and gaunt, her eyes hollow and sunken. Her lips curled into a sinister smile as she beckoned him inside. Jake's instincts screamed at him to run, but something held him in place, a morbid curiosity that compelled him to step over the threshold. The room beyond was dimly lit, its walls adorned with strange symbols and sigils that sent a chill down Jake's spine. The woman gestured towards a table in the center of the room where a single chair sat ominously empty. Without a word, Jake approached and took a seat, the bag of food still clutched in his trembling hands. The woman watched him with a predatory gleam in her eyes as she produced a set of utensils from the folds of her robe. With a flourish, she unveiled the contents of the bag, revealing a meal that seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. Jake's stomach churned as he beheld the grotesque feast before him, a sickening mixture of flesh and bone that turned his blood to ice. Panic clawed at his chest as he realized the true nature of the delivery he had been sent to make. Before he could react, the woman lunged forward, her fingers closing around his throat with an iron grip. Jake struggled against her grasp, his breath coming in ragged gasps as he fought for his life. But it was no use. With a final, bone-chilling scream, he felt the darkness close in around him, his world fading to black. Outside, the city continued its restless slumber, unaware of the horrors that lurked in its midst. And as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the woman vanished into the shadows, leaving behind nothing but a trail of empty darkness in her wake.